It did take me 5 years to get one acting job, but I think those 5 years taught me a lot, which makes today much more sweeter. I knew Siddhant since 2014 actually. We used to audition together many times at Aram Nagar. From sitting at Aram Nagar and doing our lines to now sitting in Yash Raj and having a coffee at their cafeteria and opening scripts which have our names written on it. I think it was really a big leap for us. The title Babli comes with a great responsibility. The name Bunty and Babli is so iconic, and we've been blessed that we get to somewhere use that name in this franchisee of this film. And Rani ma'am and Saif sir were just they were phenomenal. Yeah. Like, I really have no words for them. They knew that we were fangirl and fanboy.
You have a very big responsibility in keeping this franchise alive.
Yes.
So that the third part is made.
Yes.
Sharvari Wagh, thank you so much for joining me on E-Times. It's lovely meeting the new Babli, or Babli 2 if I can call it.
Thank you.
So tell me, Sharvari, you started off as a model.
Ji.
You went on to do a web show, The Forgotten Army. You assisted top directors like Bhansali.
Yeah.
Was it always at the back of your mind to become an actress?
Yes, it was always my main journey, and my main dream was always to become an actress. The means to reach that for me was, of course, modeling, working as an assistant director, and all of these things.
Okay, but I read somewhere it took you 5 years to land with a pivotal role.
Yeah.
Was it a big struggle? Can you tell us about it? You went through a series of auditions. Did you have your fair share of rejections? What was happening till you arrived at YRF?
So actually 5 years back would be Forgotten Army. So before that is when I was, I was obviously auditioning, and I was not getting enough acting jobs. So I decided that I'll just become an assistant director, because I don't come from a film family. So for me, it was very important to know how a film is made. So I started working as an assistant director. It was also my way to make contacts. It was also my way to learn how film set works, how a film is made. And along with that, I was obviously auditioning non-stop. Then I landed Forgotten Army. So I think for 5 years, I was only working as an assistant director, doing 1 or 2 ads, maybe a few modeling projects. But actually, I was never like a ramp model. I would do like photo shoots and stuff, but not. I've never walked on a ramp before. And then Forgotten Army happened. I started shooting for that. And then while I was shooting for Forgotten Army is when I started auditioning for Bunty Babli. And that's how this came into the picture.
But were you getting disappointed at some point, because those 5 years and you want to become an actress, and when it takes someone 5 years, 6 years, did you have a plan B? ऐसा लगा कि क्या हो रहा है, मुझे टाइम लग रहा है, क्यों टाइम लग रहा है?
Actually, I never had a plan B. I did not have one, because my parents actually had told me that if you really want to do this, then you should only have a plan A, and you should be so scared that that plan A needs to work. So you will work really hard for that to work. And so for me, yes, of course, there were disappointments, and I think everyone's journey has ups and downs. I'm saying not just an actor, but even my friends who are students, even they pass and fail exams. So I think it's everyone's journey. And it did take me 5 years to get one acting job, but I think those 5 years taught me a lot, which makes today much more sweeter.
When I speak to the younger lot like you, they tell us that we were almost zeroed down on a certain role, and then in the last minute they told us we are not doing it. Did that happen with you? And they also tell us that they don't give you a reason when they don't select you. Did that happen with you?
I don't remember of being zeroed down to a certain project ever. Yes, I did reach a lot of shortlistings, and I did lots of workshops with multiple actors who were gunning for that role. And you don't generally get a reason to why something has not worked out for you. But I'm pretty sure there's a vision a director also comes from, because even they have an art form, right? So I'm sure that there are multiple reasons why a rejection happens. It is, I think, upon you to kind of introspect and then work on something that you think was missing in your audition.
So you got into YRF.
Yeah.
Now this is a station, I would say,
yes,
where you don't have to mostly look out for roles. You don't have to reach
Right.
out to filmmakers.
Right.
So are you breathing free at the moment?
I think that be it YRF or be it anywhere else, I think your work speaks for yourself. Yes, YRF is extremely connected to the industry, which makes things easier for sure. But at the end of the day, I still think that if your work has credibility, then they can help you elevate that. And if not, then you need to work harder.
How much, or rather, how many times had you seen Bunty Aur Babli, the first part? Because I remember
Yeah.
it seeing it 3 times in theatre.
Yeah.
I had enjoyed
Wow,
the movie.
3 times in the
I had really
theatre.
enjoyed the movie. Though it happened that first time I went with my wife, the second
Right.
time with my kids. So, how old were you then, and what memories do you have?
So I was 8 years old when the film came out, and for me, I remember watching Bunty Aur Babli vividly, the whole film much later, I think, because when you're 8 years old, you don't really have a memory of watching an entire film. So I remember I watched it multiple times on TV. Back in the day, there was we didn't have Amazon and Netflix. It was
Yeah.
like the TV channels that you had.
Yeah.
So I remember watching that many times, and I do remember that my mother used to take my sister and I to the tailor, and she used to show Rani ma'am's photo with the collared kurta and the jhola and the all
Yeah,
of that.
yeah, yeah.
And my sister and I used to always dress up like that, be it Diwali or be it like a wedding. So I remember getting into those clothes.
तो अभी फिर से देखा जब आपको पता चला कि पार्ट 2 में आप हैं?
Actually, देखा, बिल्कुल देखा, because and you have to refresh your memory, because at the end of the day we're making a sequel. It's not like we are revamping it. It's 10 years later. So you need to know what happens in the first part, not just as an actor, but also because the character does know what happened 10 years back.
Correct. And with Siddhant Chaturvedi, was it your first interaction when he came on board for this film, or did you know him before socially?
No, so I knew Siddhant since 2014 actually. We used to audition together many, many times at Aram Nagar. There are a lot of familiar faces that you will see. In fact, a lot of people who are doing so well today is people I have bumped into many auditions, and Siddhant was of course one of them. I remember we had connected over Facebook and we used to ask each other, Ki, did you get that ad? And he was like, no. And I was like, no, did I? So from sitting at Aram Nagar and doing our lines to now sitting in Yash Raj and having a coffee at their cafeteria and opening scripts which have our names written on it, I think it was really a big leap for us.
Did you see his Gully Boy?
Yes, I did.
And you connected with him after that?
So Siddhant and I actually met after Gully Boy immediately on another screening, and that's where I had spoken to him and I told him that he absolutely nailed that part, and we ended up talking about how proud he was of himself, and of course I felt really proud because I'd seen this boy struggle for so long and he was getting what was due.
Yeah, I remember talking to him after Gully Boy. He was still bursting, he
Yeah.
still wants to do so much. He's
Yeah.
just not satisfied with one role. I remember that enthusiasm.
Yeah.
But tell me, when you got this film, were you nervous? Because you're going to work with someone called Rani Mukerji, someone called Saif Ali Khan.
Yeah.
Were
I
you
think-
intimidated also on the sets to begin with?
No, so two things. One, because Bunty Aur Babli comes with a lot of responsibility and not nervousness. Because Siddhant and I have watched that film so many times that we as fans need to do justice to this film. So it came with a lot of responsibility. The name Bunty and Babli is so iconic, and we've been blessed that we get to somewhere use that name in this franchisee of this film. And Rani ma'am and Saif sir were just they were phenomenal. Yeah, like I really have no words for them. They knew that we were fangirl and fanboy. So they made sure that we were comfortable with each other. They were cracking jokes on each other, on us. So it sort of became so easy to become, I wouldn't say friends, but the environment was very friendly, because for us they're still mentors, right? Like we won't hang out with them as friends, though they generally do with us. But for us they're mentors, for people we looked up to. But they made this environment so friendly.
Tell me your first meeting with them.
The first meeting was a reading that we did, and it was
All four of you?
All four of us, Adi sir and Varun Sharma, who's our director. So all of us were sitting. Of course, Siddhant and I were highly prepped for that reading earlier because we did not want to come across as people who don't know what we are doing. So we had done our internal readings and we were confident. We did that reading and it was so much fun. I mean, that reading could be a film on its own because we were all bringing out so much fun and so many characters, and of course they were helping us with ideas of how to improve our characters.
So when we see the trailer, we see those shades of Rani, the way you walk and the way you carry yourself. But was that easy, or have you somewhere along the way made it your own, like you'll do it your way?
So the script is written in such a way that both the Bunties and both the Bablis are completely 360-degree different from each other. So there would never be a point as an actor to even try to take any inspiration from the previous Bunty or Babli, because the script doesn't demand that. We are playing a new age Bunty Babli who are they're children of the tech boom. They know how to use social media, they know how to use YouTube. So we are basically super advanced in the terms of internet. And so we are completely different than what the previous Bunty or Babli were. And of course, the title Babli comes with a great responsibility. And ma'am always gave me the confidence and showed that confidence in me, gave me the freedom to make this character my own. And I think that just helped me because I never felt stressed because of that.
You were never inclined towards politics? You're the granddaughter of former CM of Maharashtra, Manohar Joshi.
Yeah. So actually, no one in my family actually is from politics except him. So the inclination was, it's not like none of my cousins, none of my parents or my uncles and aunts are into politics. So he was the only person who did something which was his passion. And after that, everyone's been a builder or an architect or an interior designer. So I think if anything, I would have become one of that.
There's one thing when we ask youngsters, many of them say that mom had a problem when I wanted to join the industry, or a dad had a problem.
Right.
In your case, either of them?
No, actually, this is a very funny story. My parents were the ones who made me sit down and they looked at me and they said, "We know you love acting. We know you're going for auditions. Then why are you doing civil engineering?" And I didn't know what to say to that because the confidence they showed in me at that time, maybe I didn't have the confidence to say to them. So they were like, if you really want to do this and you think about it, if it's your passion, then drop civil engineering, do arts, learn the language, learn different languages, read about, a lot of stories, go to acting classes, do dance classes. And they encouraged me to do this when I was so nervous to even start this conversation with them. So for me, actually, the journey with my parents is not I have to prove them wrong. For me, I have to prove them right because they have shown that confidence in me.
You have a very, very big responsibility in keeping this franchise alive.
Yes.
So that the third part is made.
Yes. Yes.
I wish you all the best and thank you so much for joining me at
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Lovely talking to you.